Hey, what's up, good peoples? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? Listen, y'all. This was something that we just did. It was a spur of the moment. I appreciate you guys. Happy Friday. I know some of you guys got paid. Some of you guys got some money in that bank. So I know a lot of you guys feeling good, but I appreciate the ones that tuned in. Even if y'all at the club, I appreciate it. By further ado, you guys know I don't do this alone. I would love to I've been drinking, guys. I've been drinking, so please forgive me. Let me introduce my amazing panel to you guys. He's no stranger. He was here last week, and by popular request, he's back again. What's up, Terrell, man? What's up, bro? How you feeling?
What's going on? I feel amazing. It's
That's what's
Friday.
up. Happy Friday to you.
It's Friday. Happy Friday to you.
And you got that you probably got paid today. You probably got a nice sitting on that forgot rent due, ain't it? It's the first of the month, right?
Listen,
Listen, everybody eat the money up on first of the month, right?
I get paid every day.
Oh, that's what you call bless. Um, Let me welcome the first lady to the show, Miss Shay. Listen, y'all, that's why we late as hell. What's up, baby? What's going on?
Really? So you're gonna put me out there?
You
I
gotta
have my
blame
song prepared.
somebody. You gotta blame somebody.
I just got paid
Hey,
Friday night.
hey.
Hey.
What's up, good peoples in the comments? I appreciate you guys.
What's up,
TC.
Diz?
What's up, Dance? What's going on, April? What's up? What's going on, William?
Hey.
What's up? What's up, Nate? What's up, bro? What's going on, everybody? Uh, so listen, we didn't do a show Wednesday. We don't have a life, so we like, hey, let's do a show on Friday, you know. But of course, as you know, we open up the show with an icebreaker. So my icebreaker question to you guys is, what is that one movie that if it doesn't make you cry, it makes you like put you in your feelings like damn, like it takes you to like a serious, like something serious, or it makes you tear up. What's up, sis? What's going on, Larice? How you feeling? Let me start. Now, movies, I'm not no type of person like sappy movies doesn't, but I'm gonna tell you, every time I watch Set It Off, when Queen Latifah's getting shot up at the end, and then Jada
Mhm.
Pickett or one of them is on a, I think Vivica Fox is on a bus or something. One of them is on a bus as she getting shot. That always do me in.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Set It Off, every time I get to that part, I be like, dang. And I don't be crying. It just be, I'd be sweating. I don't cry. I'd be sweating.
hmm
So Cleo, every time Cleo gets shot up at the end, it just do something to me. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but that movie does something to me all the damn time.
I can see that.
Shay, you tell me what's that movie that you cry on, or
I'm a crybaby. I cry on Disney movies. So yeah, I cry on all types of movies. I don't have a one that I don't cry on. So I just Lion King, yeah, when he was like, somebody, anybody help, because his daddy had got ran over by the stampede. So,
oh yeah, that was messed up. You talking about when
yeah,
Scar died?
yeah.
I
When
mean, not
Scar,
Scar.
no, not Scar. When Scar said,
Simba
um,
died.
not
Simba.
Simba. Simba was
Mufasa.
the son, Mufasa.
Mufasa died.
Scar had set
Oh,
Mufasa up, and Simba thought he was going, somewhere, and somehow it's the stampede he came through. So I cry on that one. So
Yeah.
yeah, Terrell, take us
take
away.
us away, Terrell. What you crying on?
Look, I'm torn between two movies. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first movie is The Best Man Holiday. When the wife dies at the end,
Oh man, that
like
was
I cry every time. Like I think it's like one of those moments where you just kind of realize the important person in your life, and for him to be strong the whole movie, like we're gonna beat this, and then next thing
because she died in a car accident.
no, she had cancer. She had cancer, and she ended up losing the battle.
No,
And
she was in a. Oh no, I'm getting my bad. I'm
yeah,
referencing the movies.
I'm like,
and
what are you talking about?
yeah, I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
what
I'm
movie.
cross ref.
I think he's talking about why did I get married?
Yeah, and then somebody get killed by a train or something.
Yeah, a car when they pulled out because they was
Oh
arguing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Janet
yeah.
Jackson Hood.
got you.
Yeah, so that movie always does it. And then it's one other movie, Fruitville Station.
Who?
Fruitville Station, played by Michael B. Jordan, where the guy dies at the end by the hand of police brutality in the subway station.
Nope,
and he
never heard of
dies.
it. You heard of it, Shay?
Have y'all heard of that in the comments? Like, have y'all heard of Fruitville Station? Y'all got to check it out. I recommend it.
Is it on Amazon?
I believe it's on Tubi. That's free.
I don't watch Tubi.
Oh my God! Don't do that. Don't do that. Tubi be lit. Okay,
listen.
If you want to laugh at serious movies, watch a Tubi movie.
The only time I watch Tubi is at the barbershop. Because they ain't paying for the internet, so they gonna put on well, they got the internet, but they ain't paying for nothing else. And we watch all them Detroit ghetto movies and them Tubi movies where you shoot a person and they falling.
Yeah,
Instagram, the Tubi movies. I'm telling you, I don't smoke, but I can only imagine if you watch those movies high, it's probably a great time. Because I'm telling you, the special effects is horrible. Like we can literally be our own stunt person. When they shoot a person, they literally get stiff, and then you see them. They be that ain't how nobody gets shot. Like who gets stiff?
I don't watch Tubi because I don't even know how to get to it. Where do you get to it?
Listen, but I do be watching Tubi, and I'll be like, wait a minute, I know her. Like I'll be like seeing people I know in the neighborhood.
You gotta download the app. Actually, Tubi should come free. If you guys got a smart TV, it should come free on your TV. If you got a smart TV, and but they say yes, it's a good movie. It says I have, and it made what movie made you cry, sis? What movie was that? She a crybaby too, so she probably cried on everything.
I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yeah, you got Tubi, you just don't watch it. Yeah. So listen, guys, we gonna talk about some adult conversation. And since you said that movie was about police brutality, my first topic that I want to bring up is the Tyrese Nichols. If you guys don't know who Tyrese Nichols is, he was the young man who got beaten by the 5 police officers. And every time I watch CNN, they add another officer that was a part of that. They then fired 2 paramedics. What is your perspective on that? Now, granted, I get it. Black Lives Matter. I get what they are and what they stand for, right? But to me, police brutality is police brutality, right? And this young man was no harm at all. And to be honest, when we talk about making somebody cry and angry, I can't watch that full movie because that video because I get angry.
Yeah,
I get mad. I now that made me cry because it's like this. He wasn't resisting, but after he been tased and pepper sprayed and he was abiding with the police, he ran. And I think in that moment it kind of scares me because it's like, damn, if I'm compliant with you and you still doing all this, what would I do? Would I run? And at that moment, he was fight or flight, but he was he wasn't resistant. What do you guys feel about that? And my thing is, we tear up, and I don't condone, and I want you guys to hear me clear. I do not condone reckless protest. I'm all for the peaceful protest. However, we tear up everything else when something happened. Where's the Black Lives Matter at? I'm confused by that. So y'all help me, educate me, because my thing is, I feel like Black Lives should be there when everybody. So y'all, correct me if I'm wrong. What's up, Christy? How you feeling? What is your perspective on it? Because I'm just outdone. Every time I look on social media, there's another clip from another angle. There's another, and it's just it's 5-6 men on one guy. His hands was handcuffed behind his back. The guy is defenseless. Like y'all jumping on him, kicking on him, stumping on him, hitting him in his face. Like, to me, that's some cowardly ass shit. And that really pisses me off. So what's your perspective on it?
Terrell, you can go ahead and go first.
Anytime something like this happens, it's kind of like takes me back to being in the car driving and a cop car gets behind me, how I feel. I always feel nervous, even though I know that I'm legit.
Mm-hmm.
even though I know that I'm not doing anything wrong or harming anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I always have this feeling of Russian roulette, like you just don't know what cop you have. Um, this situation is just really sad because it's us now in the seat of you are wearing a badge to protect and serve,
Mm-hmm.
and here it is, someone that looks like you. And I don't think, regardless if they look like you should treat people with respect, but they
Mm-hmm.
look like you. And the fact that you hear the fear, you see the disadvantage, and you hear the joking, the bullshit, as if this is not a person, as if
Mm-hmm.
this is not a human. So for me, it's really, really sad that this has happened to this young man, who has a 4-month-old son,
Didn't hear that.
now,
He got a 4-month-old son.
Yeah, he's got a
yeah,
baby.
Oh God, that just
so,
oh.
so now, this mother has to bury her son, you know what I mean? And regardless, I just feel like justice was served. And again, how you said, these are black men and they were prosecuted very quickly, you know what I mean?
Hello?
Compared to what, a white officer would be suspended with pay and let's investigate and let's see what's going on, so it's a lot of things, variables here that's questionable, which makes us all think, kind of, where's Black Lives Matter? Where's the media coverage for Black Lives Matter protesting? Me personally, I just pray every day that I get in the car
Mm-hmm.
that, that I'm good, you know.
What's your perspective on this, Shay?
Hey, read my message, Kevin.
I did. I
Um,
did. I'm trying to. Yeah.
okay. I am on the same page as both of you. I never really, well, I'm not gonna say I never really, I didn't believe in Black Lives Matter when it originally started, because you can't march, to me, that's just my personal opinion. You can't march for Black Lives Matter only when a white cop kills a black person.
Mm-hmm.
And at
Right.
that point, that's the only time that Black Lives Matter. I've
Yeah.
heard people tell me that when a black person is killed by a different race, it's different than
Yeah.
them being killed by a black person. And I'm like, at the end of the day, that's a mother or a father or a sister or a brother burying their loved one. So I don't believe that it would be less painful for them to be killed by a white person versus to a black person. So it's almost like when you try to tell somebody else about their household, but your
Mhm.
household is shit. You know what I'm saying? And they say, worry about yourself, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. That's how I feel with Black Lives. Like, you can't go and tell white people to not kill us when you're not taking care of your own household. Like, you still have to start from within, and then it's filtered out. You have to imagine a mother trying to tell you to chastise your child, but her child is out of control. The first thing
Mhm.
that's going to come to your mind is, how you gonna tell me about my kid when your kid reckless? So I
Yeah.
think that we are at a place in life where, and I see it at work every single day, that our culture does not hold our culture to the same standards as everyone else. And we have to get to the place where we hold our culture to the point where we say, hey, does Black Lives Matter really mean anything to us? And we have to be authentic and genuine and sincere and serious about that. And until we are serious about that, we're going to continue to go down this same rabbit hole, and it's just going to get further and further down the rabbit hole. So it's a sad situation, very very sad.
I got a question because I agree with everything that you just said, Shay. But I think about, you know, back in the day, when there was a time where we stood together, united, as far as boycotting and, protecting each other. And where do you think that the chain broke where we got so far away from
I'm sorry.
protecting ourselves?
Um, I think once we somewhat thought we were free from slavery,
Mm-hmm.
that the cohesiveness that existed within our culture completely went away as we begin to kind of branch off into Chicago and Detroit and all these northern states. I believe we began to believe that we was against one another, that we was better than, depending on where you lived at. And I just think that cohesiveness that was created back then, because we had no choice but to be together. You know,
Yeah.
we was all in one area, and it
Mm-hmm.
was all kind of like we was fighting the same person. So it became like we were divided, and then we started to believe that our status in life, where we lived at, it
Yep.
defined who we were. So then
Mm-hmm.
it created this division where we was against each other, and I think that's where it was lost, and we just went down this rabbit hole, and
Mm-hmm.
we're still spiraling down it because nobody's really addressing the serious issue. And it's
Right.
the fact that as a culture, we do not hold people accountable for their actions within our culture. Fuck everybody else. Start in your house and
Hmm.
holding us accountable, for our actions. A 13-year-old boy was just killed a couple of days ago. He was breaking into a guy's car, and he said on the camera they saw where the 13-year-old boy said, "I'm a kid," and the guy still shot the boy. Well, many people will probably disagree with me, and I'm totally cool with that. I got thick skin, and I don't feel no type of way when people say it. I feel he got exactly what the fuck he deserved. At the end of the day, you 13 in the middle of the night breaking into somebody's car. At 13, if you can do that, imagine how many people he would have killed between 13 and 18 if he had survived. I do not believe that for whatever reason he's out here robbing and killing people. What is going on in your life where you're up at 2 o'clock and got the freedom to be outside to rob somebody? We have to start within our culture.
We do, and you know what, and I have to, you know what, I'm one of those people that agree with you. I'm sorry, people work hard for their stuff, and you have to worry about, and you have to understand, if somebody break in here, I'm not caring if you 8 and 9, 10, 11. My thing is fight or flight. And if you come in here, I'm blasting you. You can be 5 years old. But if you
Hello.
if you breaking in here, the first thing that's gonna come to mind is that fight or flight, that I'm about to be in danger and I'm gonna protect myself. So at that point in time, if I'm not shooting to say, "Oh, are you okay? I'm just trying to hurt you." No, I'm shooting to take you out of here. You going home. I don't know what home you going to, but you ain't gonna be here no more. So I'm gonna do what I have to do. And I unfortunately I don't feel bad. What I feel bad about is the people, is the parent. Not, I don't feel bad about the parents. I'm not gonna even say I feel bad. I'm kind of more angry of the parenting of the kid, because when I was 13, 14, that I could think about, I still was thinking about kid stuff, riding, trying to sneak the ride in the street on a bike, because we had to ride on the sidewalk, not thinking
But
about
you know what
a
was
freaking
different
gun.
then? The difference
Crazy.
with you and me and probably Terrell and probably your sister was our moms, one, were probably older parents. They wasn't people that was 14 or 15 having kids like you're 20 and your kid's 5. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
at the end of the day, the ability to be able to instill in them respect, integrity, humility. You
Mhm.
can't instill something in a person whose mama is 15 and the grandma is damn 20. It's like you don't have the ability to instill anything because they don't know. They're undereducated with life as a whole in a big ass bucket. So everybody's ignorant.
It is. You're right, because back in the day, if our parents wasn't together, then we had grandparents to kind of fill in where our
And
parents
neighbors.
left off. Yes,
You got
but
your butt
now,
beat by your mama, your neighbor, your auntie, like your teacher. It was a bigger. It's just
It's a different
yeah.
if it's a different time, and you know I it's really that's why I don't watch the news. Like I was just watching the news with my sister when she called me about these guys, 3 guys, rappers that got killed. Like I think, and I can't. People want to always blame it on the white man did this. At some point, we have to take accountability for ourselves. Now,
Yeah.
granted, as a kid, it's nothing we can do. You know, we're not asked to be born here. We have to figure out the cards that's dealt to us. But as
Yeah.
an adult, you can change that shit.
Yeah.
There's therapy. At some point, you have to take accountability for your own actions. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people they want to live in this ideology that I'm victimized, and we got
Yeah.
to quit playing victim. At some
Yeah.
point, we got to take ownership of what's going on, and if we having issues, we have to face it and deal with it, and quit using substances, weed, and alcohol to suppress. Because guess what? That's a temporary fix.
And I
That's a
think it goes.
temporary fix, and that, of course, temporary is not the solution to something permanent. Once your high go down and you sober, you still gonna feel that same way. You know what I mean? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Terrell.
and I think it goes back to what you said. It's the parenting that you're disappointed in. It's like that's the root. You know what I mean? That's the root to who they will become. And babies having babies. Yeah, some 15-year-olds are phenomenal parents. And hold their kids accountable and still raise a amazing human being to be a person in society. But then you also have people who are raised and their village is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Their village is competitive, crabs in the bucket, not, hey, let me show you how to survive in this world. You have parents who can't wait for their kids to be 18 at the age of 12. You're already focused on the exit and not focused on them right now and pouring into them. There's so many cultures, there's so many people in other cultures who say you're not leaving here until you have a 700 800 credit. We're going to make sure that you have equity before you leave this house. We're going to make sure that you're prepared. There's so much about I'm trapped with you for 18 years and then I get my life back. I get to live again. And it's like your life doesn't have to stop. It can coincide with you being a parent. I don't have kids, and people always say, "Oh, well, you don't have kids, so you don't get to say." Well, guess what? I do get to say because I was a kid. So therefore, I know what it's like to have a parent. And I know that when you hear things like, "Oh, you're going to be in foster care. Oh, I'm going to call da da da," you know what I mean? Like, what it's like to have someone that kind of makes it seem that you are a burden in some situations. So when you say things like, when you turn 18, you're out. I feel like we need to focus on our kids. We need to pour into them. We need to hold them accountable. We need to show them the ropes as to what not to become. And then we don't have these kids breaking in to cars and, at 2 a.m. Can you imagine? Because, like relationships, you're very in tune with your partner. You know what I mean? You know where they're going, you focus on that communication. I think it's time to communicate and focus in on your kids. That same way, that same energy that you're putting in your relationship. When your kids are under 18 and living with you, you need to really tighten in that communication.
So let me ask you guys this. Let me turn this question back to you guys. Okay. So to those mothers, right?
Mhm.
What if they don't know any better because their mothers didn't teach them? At what point do you break that generational curse? Because guess what? Maybe the killers, maybe their parents didn't have a parent, right? And
Mhm.
I firmly believe you only like, of course, 2 things doesn't come with the handbook. That's parenting and relationships. Because every parent is different, every relationship is different. And so those 2 things doesn't come with the handbook. So our parenting techniques, and I'm not a parent, but I can only use how I was brought up and kind of distill some of those same principles and those same morals how I was raised. But what if you didn't have those principles and morals? How can you pass that on to another person?
You don't need it.
No, well, I put it to you like this. You have white people who was raised to be prejudiced. And then they get older, and sometimes it takes for experience for you to break the cycle.
Yeah.
I do believe that it is somewhat different
Hmm.
because to be able to, I've heard people say I was never loved, so I don't know how to love.
Mm.
It's an experience. You have to experience it. It's not something that you can get a book and you can read about it. So being a good mom or a good dad, it's an experience
Hmm.
that you have to, unfortunately and fortunately, pair with someone or meet someone down your experience, which is life, that
Hmm.
shows you or tells you that I know your mom may have been an alcoholic or a user, or I don't know, whatever. But this is not cool, and this is the way that you can do this so that you don't be like your mom, or you don't, your child doesn't turn out like whatever. I think it's an experience to a certain extent, because you're going to need something to go off of. Because right at
Exactly.
this point, if you're going off of what you
Exactly.
know, you're only going to be a replica of what you saw. You know what I'm saying? And then
Hmm.
it's just going to feed into your children. So it's kind of like you have to have an experience with someone that tells you or that shows you the right way to go in order to be, in order to break that cycle.
I agree. But it comes to a point of time where you have to realize that for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm again, we always talk, and I can only talk about my experience. So my mom, my grandmother has six children, right? My mom is one of six kids, right? And so I she died young, but I can always remember she was saying she's unhappy and stuff like that, right? I thought I had the most amazing grandparent ever. Grandparents, but grandmother, because my grandfather died early. But doesn't mean that I had the same mother. And so I think for me, my experiences was that, well, because you was raised with such good parents, how did I experience some things that I knew my grandparents wasn't a part of, if that made sense, right? But also you have to understand that people have traumas, and we ignore traumas, and people does not, and that's one thing about our community. And when I say our community, I mean our black community. We don't, when it comes to therapy, nowadays we're more a little more open to it. But back then in the day, we swept that under the rug. And so remember, household things, oh, this stays in the household. We don't tell this and we don't tell that. You know what I mean? So I don't know what she endured in her young age, but I know that her parenting style didn't mimic my grandmother, right? And then it was the same thing. Like, you have to break the generational curse. Like, my mom got pregnant at 15. They made her get married at 16. And then my mom had two daughters, and my sister had a baby at she was in her senior year of school, had the baby, she still graduated and everything. But there's there's generational curses and stuff like that. Now the thing is, when I think of generational curse, I feel like my sister did break it because she did not. I had two sisters. One sister kind of mimicked the ways of my mom, and then the other one didn't.
Hmm.
So I think the generational curse broke then, but I don't think it stopped. I think if you have kids, I feel like each kid have to be able to break that. You know what I mean? It's not up to
Yeah.
one kid to break that generational curse. So in that case, if you grew up in a household where they were strict and religious, it oftentimes make you think, well, why did this person act this way? Or,
Yeah.
I think kids are rebellious for a reason. They're not just rebellious because, but I think they are rebellious for a reason. So what do you say in that case? You know what I mean?
I think
I
it's
want to.
experience. It's the people that they're around.
Yeah.
I mean, certain things you can prevent. Try to shield your children from. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because my mom was a Christian and went to church. You know what I'm saying? And I was never molested. Nobody ever raped me. I wasn't abused, but I'm gay. That doesn't mean that, anything. It was what I chose to do. It was my life. It was what I was happy with. So
Mhm.
it don't have nothing to do with my mom. That,
Yeah.
certain things in life don't have anything to do with the parent. I
Yeah.
think, talking about, at 12 and 13, you're robbing people. At 12 and 13,
Mhm.
you're molesting 5-year-olds. At 12 and 13, you're drinking alcohol, you're smoking weed, you're skipping school. That's something that is going on in the house.
Right.
That's
So
something
so
that
let me
is
ask you this. So you think a lot of the kids mimic what they sing or
most
experiencing?
definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm gonna say this though too. It's like I feel like it all depends on how you're wired too, because you can literally have a kid that is a black sheep in their
Mhm.
family. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And like everybody could be rough and like, confrontational and aggressive and negative minded, and then you can have this kid that's just pure heart, like, and does not fit. Sometimes it's the way you're wired. And to speak to how you were saying like like what your mom may have experienced with your grandparents opposed to how they were with you.
Mhm.
One thing that I always say is like I have a little sister, she's about 14, and she has a different mother than I had at that age. You know what I mean? My mom has grown so much
Mhm.
over the
Experience.
years. So therefore the things that I've experienced and
Mhm.
how she was then, she's not the same mother. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? She's not the same person, and to anybody that has trauma with their parents, like I used to have a lot of frustration to my dad, to my mom, anybody that has that frustration, I had to come to terms with my parents are people, you know what I mean? And they're developing, you know what I mean? And when I look back at certain ages, I was like, dang, my mom was only 30 or my mom was 27. And it's like,
Mhm.
damn, me at 27, I got this, you know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm juggling over here. So to humanize your parents, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when we are little, we're looking at them and we're putting them on this pedestal. You're my protector, you're my guider, you're all of these things. But at the end of the day, that's that's a human that is still figuring it out, that is still growing, making mistakes, making poor judgment decisions. But as they're growing, some people may not be growing. You may not see the progression. But what I can say is that I've seen progression in many people, you know what I mean, even including in myself. And a lot of times we think that our mind won't change and that we won't grow in our own decision. Like, oh, we think it's right now, but down the line, years later, that way of thinking may change to something completely different.
It will. It will. Because even now, as a mom, I remember my mom saying things to me that it almost gives me the chills because I say it to McCullough. It's the experience and the life, the journey that I went through that taught me, better. But it also had something to do with me wanting. I wanted to be a better mother. I want to be a better friend. I want these things. You have kids now that they have no respect for life. They have no respect for people. They have no respect for respect. They have no
Mhm.
respect for anything outside of their own self gratification.
Yeah.
To me, at that point, is something going on within that home
Neglect.
that's causing this child to feel like life ain't shit. Like with McCullen, my son,
Yeah.
McCullen didn't touch a game that had a gun to it till he was 16. He
Mhm.
never played with a water gun. He never had a fake gun. He never watched TV movies with guns. I played, what do you call that? Kids Bop in my car until McCullen was 16 years old. He didn't listen to rap music. I didn't shelter him, but I wanted to be the one to introduce him to those things. I wanted to be the one to sit down with him with Grand Theft Auto and explain to him that this is a game. I'm going to allow you to play it maybe once or twice a week. After that, we're going to take it out. You're going to give it back to me, and then
Mhm.
you can play the rest of your games. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to do this in incremental instances so that therefore you can understand what it is, what's it's about. Until this day, I have people who have kids that's my son's age that have guns. My son has not mentioned a gun.
Hey
It's
Shay,
how you bring them up
do you
and
think it's
killing them.
harder to do these days with how, information and stuff is just so accessible for our kids when they go to school, who they're around and what they're going to learn when they're not in your presence? Because I know a lot of kids at school, that's really
I
when you
think
have
it's
to be
easier
worried.
now.
It's extremely easier.
I think it's easier. So I got a 2-part answer.
Okay.
I think it's easier from the perspective that is the information is readily available for anybody on Google, right? That information that we didn't have the internet back in the day to say such and such, such and such. Now you can type anything and you can get an answer from Google, right?
Right.
So I feel like people just don't research. That's my first answer. But then again, I'm playing devil's advocate because you have social media. And if you know, social media plays, people mimic people, especially people they look up to.
Yeah.
If you got a little kid and they got a favorite rapper and he's talking about shoot 'em up, bang bang, hoes, and in the video he's sagging, they gonna mimic those because social media is
Mhm.
popular. It's
Yeah.
it's a powerful tool nowadays, social media. But again, if you have in your house, this where it comes to the household, you have to explain to your kids, this is stuff you see on TV, but this stuff is reality. And I think a lot of times in single parent household, or if mother's working, they try to give their kids something to keep them entertained because they know they can't 100% give them that attention that they need. So guess what? I'm gonna go buy them Grand Theft Auto because that's a game. At least I know they're in the house.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go buy them a BB gun because they can shoot at the squirrels, but at least I know they're in the house. So you have to it really goes, the rabbit hole goes deep
Yeah.
when you think about that. I just think that it's not enough, and I don't want to discredit mothers, but I think there's not a lot of male positivity role models because like my role model, I didn't have a dad. My dad wasn't active in my life, but I had dad figures. I had my grandfather and I had an amazing uncle. Like my uncle bought me stuff for every birthday. My uncle bought me something. And even when he didn't, well, he did. So like it got to the point where I knew when he was around, he was going to get me something. And I remember I asked him like, Uncle, today my birthday. And that's when he said, hey, getting a gift is optional. You don't ask for a gift. And I had to learn that because I was so used to him buying gifts every birthday. And I'm like, I'm sitting around here. Why you not having went upstairs and bought down something? Every one of us knew that if we didn't get nothing, Uncle Glenn was going to give us something. And I got so bold to say, okay, I'm like, okay, it's 9:00. He's been down here. He ain't said nothing. And I asked him, like, you didn't give me anything for my birthday. And he told me, like, your birthday is optional. You don't ask for birthday gifts. And I learned that. Like, that stick with me as an adult. And even though that same day he did go up there and give me a gift, but it taught me something. You know what I mean? But I do believe that some people are just lost because guess what? If their parents didn't teach them that, some people just don't have any type of positive role model in their life. So these people killing people because they don't have nothing to live for. They never been told that they love you. One thing I can say I admire about my family, we tell each other we love each other.
Yeah.
My nieces, everybody, my aunts, my sister, even my nephews. I say, nephew, hey, I love you. He said, I love you too, aunt. we have that, and I think that's important because a lot of families never had that.
But you know what's crazy to me?
Was that?
Let me just see something really quick. So, Kevin, when you were a kid, did you have a dream to be something?
I did. Yep.
Okay. Shay, did you have a dream to be something?
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many people, kids, who don't have a dream to be anything.
Mm.
Like literally, you can say, I remember I want to be a meteorologist. I want to be, a pilot, a fireman. Like you have so many kids.
But why do you
And even-
think it's that? Why?
You know
Tell me
what?
why
It's
do you
crazy.
think
I'm at a point now, like I don't even understand it. You know what I mean? Like that's literally a person that I cannot understand. Like because I'm so in tune with dreaming and having something to strive to become and to obtain that when I hear, I don't know, it's like everything in me just shuts down. Like, what is going on? Mayday, mayday. Like,
I would almost bet if we pulled 5 kids into a room and we asked each one of them, why do they not have a dream, or a wish or a hope of what they want to be, I would almost bet my entire year's income that it would be because they don't see it around them. It goes back to what you're subjected to, what you live in every day.
Mhm.
Because it's impossible for a girl that lives in a house with 2 doctors and a grandmama who's a nurse and an uncle who's a lawyer and an auntie who's a dentist that says, I don't have a vision. It's almost utterly impossible. So
But
for me to wake up every morning
Mhm.
and to see my mom still laying on the couch, to see that I don't have a daddy, to see that I don't have lights, to see that I gotta fight my way to school. It puts you, it makes me feel, because I've spoke at events where it was the Rhonda Walker Foundation. I've spoke
Okay.
at one of her events before. And I remember telling the audience that I didn't know how to read when I graduated from high school.
Mhm.
And I mean, after that event, I mean, it was so overwhelming. I mean, people was crying all over the building, grown-ups, kids, but it was because it was the same experience and they felt hopeless.
Yeah.
When they don't see it in their face, it was like, I don't see it. I don't have anybody to talk to about this.
Right.
You feel hopeless.
So you know what's crazy, Shay? Growing up, I didn't want to be anything that I saw. Every dream was something that was on TV. I lived through TV, literally.
But what's
Everything
on
that
TV? What's on TV
like
now
literally fantasy, like
from me?
literally fantasy,
fantasy,
fantasy, like
fictitious things,
yeah,
everything is just
literally
You saw
fantasy.
more doctors and more nurses and more
Mm-hmm.
astronauts and more dentists
Yeah,
on TV back then than you see rappers now. So they don't
yeah.
again, they don't have anything to look forward to. They don't see it. It's not
But
there. It's not visible.
but I have
Mhm.
to disagree. Again, it's a counter. I get that, but it comes a point in time, and not everybody the same. Either that situation going to drive you to want more, or you're going to succumb to it.
You can't ask a 12-year-old to be driven
Not
to
12, but guess what? That 12-year-old is going to eventually be 18 and 21 and 25. So do you become a 25-year-old and say, hey, because I didn't have these things as a kid? No, you have to take accountability for yourself and say, guess what? As a kid, I know I couldn't help where I lived. I couldn't help how I grew up. But guess what? I can change those things now. Like we can't keep saying that because you didn't have, that's the case. It'll be a lot more people that's just not doing anything. But
but
when are you going to take accountability for oneself and say, hey, no, I did not have that.
Mhm.
Like I'm just one of the few. I did not have that. But I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be the best thing I can be.
But you had a sister who was there for
I
you.
had a
You had a
sister.
sister
I had a
that raised
grandparents.
you. You had a
I
good
did.
it wasn't the best environment, but you had a good environment.
I
Kevin, we're
did.
talking about kids who are growing up with no lights, no gas, no food, no beds, sleeping on the floor. You can't expect them to come from the gutter, come into an adult life, and have this ambitious goal and dream. It was a show where the black guy, no, white guy, he had all the kids lined up on this line, and he
Mhm.
asked them, he said, how many of you have a single parent? If you have a single parent, you stay back, everybody else walk forward. How
Right.
many, whatever, all the questions, most majority that was on the back of the line,
Yeah.
guess who they were
Right.
black kids. So he said, so if I'm asking you to go to the same location as the black kids in the back, you have a better advantage.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're asking these kids that was raised in the gutter to be as mindful as you were, even though you didn't have the best life. I guarantee you didn't have the worst life. You
I,
can't ask for that. It's not
I did.
realistic.
When I think of, I did not have the best life. I've, I never went out when I was with my grandparents and my sister. I never went without food. I never went without any of those things. I thought
Exactly.
that my grandparents were very strict, but no, I did not have a bad life, you know. But however, I did not have. So the first people you fall in love with is your mother and your father, right?
Mhm.
Those people are examples.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but those people
Allegedly.
are people that normally set the foundation for you. Is
Yeah.
your mother and father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did not have a father, and I think my mom did the best she could as a parent, you know, whatever that is, you know. And again, that can be subjective, right? You asked my little brother said he had the best mom. When you
Mm-hmm.
ask me, it's different. You ask my other
Mm-hmm.
sister, so that's subjective,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think for me, and this is not discounting anybody, but I think for me, at what point, at what age do you have to take accountability? I can't use things that happened to me as a kid and go through life and harm people and hurt other people because I'm
That's
hurt.
not what I'm saying. That wasn't
I
what we.
know, but a lot of people are hurt. So at what point do you get help for that hurt?
I
I
totally
think.
understand where you're coming from, but I think the most important part is how do we decrease this from happening? You know what I mean? How do we prevent this? Because kind of like
Yeah.
I understand totally what you're saying, Shay, is like you have a kid that has nothing positive, has to struggle for every single thing that they have and own. How can you expect them to come out and be ambitious? But I think one of the biggest things, and it goes back to wiring, right? And the reason why I keep saying the way that people are wired is because there are very few, you know what I mean? And I'm not even going to say few because I don't know the statistics, but I would say that there are some that will be motivated and humbled from their experience. And then
Mhm,
there
mhm.
will be some that are going to become vengeful
A
because of
menace to society.
yeah,
Yeah.
vengeful of what other
Yeah.
people and jealous of what other people have. Because you have people that are in third world countries that don't have shit and are happy
Mhm.
and are full in life. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like, what is like with the kid that doesn't have a dream? Like I think what's missing from that is investment, whether it's
Yes.
time, whether it's
Yes.
love, whether it's like, you know, this is the problem. Here, go sit in a room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's
That
no relationship here.
right,
There's no
but
But
that's
go
bond.
back.
exactly.
Go
There's
back
no
to your question. When you ask, is it harder for parents nowadays to raise their children and to shield them from whatever it is they're trying to shield them from? It's absolutely 20,000 times harder
Mhm.
because they're getting it from everywhere, and
Yeah.
children are so rebellious now. Not only are they rebellious, hell, the damn government protects them. If you whoop
Yeah.
them, you go to jail. If you put them out, you're going to jail. You know, it's like it used to be your mama tell you, if you don't act right, I'll put you out. Or she'll
Yeah.
say, if you try to call somebody, I'm gonna whoop their ass and yours if they come to my house. Now you have children who go to court and say, I don't want to be with my mama no more. I want to take my rights away from my parent. It is 20 times harder. I was a single mom my entire time of raising my son. And I remember getting cameras installed in my house because I worked nights. So I had to go to work at 6 o'clock, pick him up from school, take him home, go to work at 6 p.m. I would go back home at 11:30, make sure he got in bed, to drive back to work, to drive back home at 6 a.m., take him downtown to school. I stayed in East Point, to drive back to East Point, go to sleep. I did this for years, but I had to lock his phone and I had to check his phone and I had to look at him through the camera. It was so much I had to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't even nowhere near as bad as it is now.
And the crazy part is, I think it's perspective too. That's your baby, right? A lot of people look at their kids as a bill, not their baby.
Elaborate on that.
Shall I? Because you have a parent who, I put clothes on your back, I put food on the table, and that's it. There's no, let me show you your worth. Let me show you your value. I'm doing this because I love you. Shay did all that because of the well-being of her child. You know what I mean? There's another parent that'll be like, oh, they'll be fine. You know, don't make sure food is on the table. It's a microwave of food in there.
Experience, though, it was what I experienced with my mom. Like, my mom didn't work. She was at home. She took care of us. She had 8 kids, and she did the best she could with what she had. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't grow up where I didn't struggle. We had rats. We had roaches. We had all the above. We stayed in the ghetto. I went to a horrible high school. I went to a horrible middle school. I went to a horrible elementary, but one thing she did was she kept me prayed up. She kept me in church. She gave me something to lean on. You know, when I think it, you know, in the Bible, I know for a fact it says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're older, they won't depart from it. Yeah. Believe me when I tell you, all this stems back from the root. It's what's invested. It's the foundation. Our parents, I can guarantee you, Kevin knows that scripture. You know that scripture. Maurice knows that scripture. Dez knows that scripture. All my sisters know that scripture. It's what we was, our foundation, what we was rooted. Our roots is in that dirt. Ask those children again, why they, the ones that don't have a vision, I can guarantee you they don't know what John 3:16 is. I can guarantee you they don't. 9 times out of the 10, it's the foundation, what was embedded in our children. And our children, the issue stems back to us as a culture. We have lost the ability and the will to actually have a vision, like you said. Forget the kids. Let's pull the parents in and ask them what they want to be.
Exactly.
Well, that's because kids is having kids nowadays.
Again,
you know, kids is having kids, and this, I think that there's not enough empowerment, right? There's not enough boys and girls clubs, right? There's not enough. That's a good question. I remember back when I grew up, we had DARE programs. Y'all remember that? The DARE programs that taught you about the drugs. We had sex education. They taught you about sex. We had a hygiene class. Remember they used to bring the little deodorants. The hygiene class. They used to give you these teen deodorants, and the teen deodorant used to burn all the fucking skin out under your arms. But they still taught you, like, we had those things. But nowadays, the kids don't have nothing to look up to. But all they have is Nicki Minaj and Future. And the rest of the artists, you know, that they can mimic or emulate, you know. I think that even though I'm not a dad per se, it's my job I'm still a mentor regardless. I feel like we all are walking mentors. And when you think people not looking at you, people are. Like, I still got nieces and nephews. So at the same time, there's still a certain way I'm gonna hold myself around them because I want them to know. And a lot of things that I do. Of course, you do it for a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
However, I want them to see that you can do it. I did it. You can do it. You know, if I walk around my nephews and they pants is all the way down to their knees,
Yeah.
I'm pull your pants up. You want somebody looking at your ass? Then
Yeah.
they get offended. Like, no, I don't want. Pull your pants up. Everything is a trend,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to tell them, or let, like, you know where that came from. Do you know what this means? It saddens me that a lot of these people I see with their pants down, they don't know the history behind that. They don't know the history behind what that really means. If
They
they
don't
knew what
even
that really means, they wouldn't really they wouldn't do it.
they don't even care
No, some of
anymore.
them
They
don't
don't
care.
I
even
know they right.
care.
Yeah.
They have no sense of dignity, humility, and integrity. Like, if you look up respect,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing one of my leadership classes, and when you look up respect, guess what the number one word is when you look up respect? Adolescent. It talks about adolescent. So, in retrospect, you would think that it's taught at an adolescent age, right?
Yeah.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, it's people that's our age and older, way older than me and you and everybody put together that don't understand what respect is.
Yeah. And
Like
it's
they
great. And
don't.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's I agree with you. And I think it's that I don't care mentality.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy, like, kind of like how Kevin was saying that he's a mentor. You got kids that's looking up to you, whether it's your niece, your nephew, neighbor, or whatever. And I think the tunnel vision right now, people literally mind their own business. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with me.
Well,
You know
because
what I
it's
mean?
safe now. You have to think about it. You used to be able to see your neighbor's kids doing something they don't have no business doing. And
Hmm.
guess what you could say? Hey, stop doing that, little Johnny, and get back in the house. You say stop, little Johnny, and get back in the house. Johnny's saying, fuck you, bitch. And you like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, even with the employees that I work with, I took a recent class that was talking about inclusiveness and
Yeah.
diversity. And we've had to conform as leaders, we've had to conform to some of the craziest things that I never thought in a million years we would have to conform to.
Hmm.
Like, people don't want to work full time. So you have to make these part time schedules. So it's not like 24 hours, but it's like I only want to work 15 to 20 hours.
Hmm.
Um, you have to conform to people saying they can't make it to work and they're calling off. And
Yeah.
you have to conform to it. It's no longer I'm going to write you up for your attendance. It's like, well, what can I do to get you to come to work? Do I need to come pick you up? Do I need to pay for you an Uber? Oh, guess what? What's the other one we got to conform to? You're going to bring your kid to work with you because I can't come to work unless I bring my kid because I ain't got no babysitter.
Hmm.
So it has gotten to this place, our culture as
Crippling.
a whole, we have to get people like you, Kevin, Des, that can take these guys and have patience with them
Hmm.
and really get down to peel these layers back. Me and other women that can get to these women. They have this program called Woman to Woman in Detroit where you foster mothers who are younger with children and you
Hmm.
foster them and you teach them how to be moms. We
Yeah.
have to get to that place because unfortunately our culture is really going down this rabbit hole and it's scary. And as
Mm-hmm.
Larry said earlier up in our conversation, it's embarrassing.
It is. It
Yeah.
It's
is.
embarrassing.
It is. So I think we talked enough about that. It's Friday. Let's kind of shift the conversation. We do have to do better with our youth, and if you are able, try to figure out programs and be a volunteer of that program. Google, you research, and then try to be a positive role model for that person. Be a big brother, a big sister. You research programs in your community and just be a part of that. You know what I mean? oftentimes if they don't come to you, you go to them. And I think we got a long road ahead of us, but I think if we have a lot of level-headed people that's on the same path and track, I think we'll get somewhere with that. And I really believe, remember back in the day I said take a village? It really does. You had our parents, like Shay said, our neighbors, teachers, all of that. All of that is a village, and it does take a village. The thing is, we don't have a village anymore. So before we can raise a child, we have to first build our village. And I think that's the piece that's missing. We need to find out our village, rebuild the village, and then we can be able to empower. Let's kind of shift the conversation. Of course, we talk about a plethora of things, right? Um, Relationships is something that we always talk about. Why is it so many people single? I see. Is it because their ideology of what a relationship is? Is it a false narrative that's given to them? Why you think a lot of people are single? Is it by choice? Because I don't believe it's by choice. I don't think all of these single people are single because of choice. Do you think they're setting themselves up for this fictitious thing that, oh, you're going to be swept off your feet by this particular person? Or why do you think it's so many single people? Both of you guys mind.
I think it's more a lot of single people because integrity has been lost.
Hmm.
Honest, a trust has been lost. So many, and I'm not gonna say women are not cheaters. I'm not gonna say that
No, because
because
they are.
I know they are.
You guys are.
But I think that men have disrespected women so bad
Wait. Don't
that
just do
I'm just
men like that.
ask me. I'm telling you.
Don't just do men like that.
I think men have disrespected women so bad for so many years, way before me and you was born. And this idea that they can sleep with as many women as their penis will allow them to sleep with, and long as they're taking care of home, then it's okay. And this, women should turn the other eye to it. I think this new age of women are over it. They're over it. And it's like, you know what? I'll rather be by myself because statistics speak, and I didn't write the statistics, that black women outweigh men in education, outweigh men and less children, and outweigh men
It's
with finances.
can
So
you see me though? Can you send me those
I'm
credible
just saying, you
sources?
can Google it. You can Google it because it's out there.
But it also depends on what you're googling, because not everything is
What
credible.
I'm saying is, it's statistically said that black women out educate men, and for sure outweigh them when it comes to finances. However, you have so many black women that constantly get with men who they have to build up, but catch 22, a black man is not gonna get with a black woman who he gotta build up. He gonna feel like you ain't finna mooch off of me, but she gotta raise his children that ain't hers. She got to help him get his credit score together. She got to help him get a car. She got to help him pay his child support. She got to help him pay his bond. He on probation. It's a ton of issues that come along with all of these different things that now you have to build this person up, but they won't do the same for you. And I'm not speaking off of my personal experience. I'm
Mhm.
speaking off the things that I see literally every single day.
So
So I
so
just think the women are
so is it
over it.
is it divided? Is it the men over it? Because you got women who only look at men as cash cows. Is that
But
all we are? Is just
so many,
money?
it's not that many that got it. So, and most of the black men who do are educated and got their money together, they gonna get a white woman. So it's like
So
they
okay, so question: Why is that? Why do you think most educated, successful black men go out there and race? Is it because they don't deem black women to be on their level? Do
I
they?
said it's my thought, so I don't want nobody to get offended. But I think that Black women, when we have standards, we're
Hmm.
considered gold diggers. And when white women have standards, they're
Hmm.
considered ambitious. So
Mm.
at the end of the day, to me, I just think when women set that, when black women say, I want an educated man, I want him to have a credit score of whatever, I want him to be a Harvard graduate because I'm a Yale graduate. She's looked at as being bougie, thinking she's all that, or she's looking for somebody to save her. Even if she got her own shit, it would
Mhm.
still be perceived that she's looking at somebody to save her. A
Yeah.
white woman comes to the table and says she want an educated man. She wants a man who's got oh yeah, she's goal driven. She's ambitious. She ain't gonna let nobody use her. She's standing up for what she should. And I
Yeah.
believe that our culture of black women have never been protected by anybody. Black men,
Yeah.
black women, white
Yeah.
women. You literally have to protect your own self. That's
Hmm.
just my opinion. And
I,
it's
I
not
I
no.
think so I understand, like you said, that men has disrespected women, to a point where it's just kind of they're no longer interested in having a relationship. And I think it's responsibilities on both ends, because I
Mhm.
feel like there was a time early, like that I remember, that women were looking at the same men that disrespected them, wanting them, and overlooking the guy that was respecting her, opening doors for her, pulling out chairs. He was boring.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like that mentality has conditioned a lot of these dudes, because a lot of these girls went after the bad boy, the
Exactly. Because the
one,
good guy don't get a chance. Exactly. Yeah.
but I mean, and now,
Hmm.
now the girls want the good guy. You know what I mean? Because the bad boy treated them wrong. So I do think it's responsibility, and that's not everybody's story. You know what I mean? But
Right, right,
I
right.
do believe that there's responsibility shared on both ends, that a lot of guys conform. Well, this is what y'all want. This is what you know what I'm saying? This is what you asking for. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
for some people, you know what I mean? And that becomes what you see on TV. That's becomes what you see in music videos. And again, you have, growing your influence is
Perception is
Future. You know what
reality.
I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, Future, like kind of like the conversation with Lori Harvey, like, oh, what is she doing? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I just feel like, it's a responsibility on both parts. I think people are single because, they're not ready. And I think as long as you're not ready, don't get in a relationship, stay single. Um, so yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: is cheating, or is there different levels of cheating? Because you have the physical cheating, you have the mental cheating, you have the emotional cheating. Is cheating? Would you guys leave someone because they cheat, or would you only leave due to the level of the specificity? This oh god, I'm saying the wrong word. This the the specific type of cheating that they did. Would you leave off that?
So my thing is this.
I gotta give me some wine. I'll be right back.
Because the cheaters are always running away, right?
My thing is this,
I'm just kidding. She's not a cheater.
is once you unalign with me, I have a problem. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
Meaning, like, I can respect you sharing, you as an entirety. You know what I mean? Like your desires, things that you're thinking, things that you're experiencing. I can weather the storm with that. You know what I mean? But the moment that you're doing something deceptive behind my back, that's kind of rocky for me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
cheating can be many different things. You know what I mean? Cheating is when you try to connect with somebody and you hide the
For
facts
sure.
of your intentions and the person's intentions. And once that start to happen to me, now we're not aligned. You know what I mean? We're not connected the way that I thought we were connected. You know what I mean? So for me, that's one of the most important things. You need to be aligned with me. You need to be connected with me. The moment that you move out of alignment,
Hmm.
when it comes down to having intentions and trying to connect with someone else,
Hmm.
that's a problem for me. And that, to me, I feel like you do it once, you do it again.
I think I have to agree with you 100%. However, I do think that there are grades and degrees of cheating. and this is just my perspective. Let me welcome everybody new. Thank you guys for joining the stream. This is our Friday adult conversation. So welcome. I appreciate you guys for joining in with us on this Friday. I do believe cheating is cheating across the board, right?
Mhm.
I think when it comes to forgiveness, for me, I need to know the extent.
I don't need to know.
For me, I need to know the extent of what had happened for me to say, okay, is this forgivable or if it's not forgivable? I mean, because if somebody text somebody something but never met, you probably will forgive them faster than somebody that just busted wide open 5 times and you just found out that they took their hard-earned money, went to a nice hotel, busted wide. I mean, so I feel like for me, there's degrees of cheating. Do you guys agree or disagree?
No.
You disagree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you, Shay?
Um,
Drink your wine. Drink up. Drink.
I'm definitely gonna say that you don't know what you're gonna do until you're in that situation. You can talk all day about you're leaving and you ain't gonna be there, and yeah, all this bullshit. But reality is, when you've invested in someone and you love someone, until you're put in that situation, then only then will you be able to give the true answer.
Yeah.
I have lived the life where I was betrayed by my partner and cheated on. And I, of course, said the same thing that everybody else said. I'm leaving. But when you have a connection and a soul connection and a soul tie with someone, it is not that cut and dry. You can talk that shit all day
Mhm.
about you leaving.
Mhm.
But until then, when you experience it and you truly love someone, and you can't say, oh, I did it before, so I'm going to do it again, because you love people differently. You don't love everybody the same. So you can truly be totally
Right.
connected to somebody totally different where you can't shake it or lose, because the saying is love makes you do crazy things.
Yeah.
So it's a true statement that I was able to leave somebody who cheated on me, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not saying that I couldn't forgive a cheater or that I couldn't move past it. But what I'm saying is cheating is still cheating. I
Oh no, I
won't,
wasn't
you
saying that
know.
for you. I
Oh,
was
okay.
saying that for people in general. Like people will say, "Well, if somebody hit me, I'm out of here," or if
Okay.
somebody do this, I'm out. You don't know what you're going to do, and you can't base your history
So you
off
never
of your
know.
present, because you didn't love the person you with now 5 years ago. You love Johnny Blue. Now you in love with Susie Q. So you may love Susie Q in a whole different dynamic
Mhm.
where Susie Q got a hold on you that Johnny Blue didn't have. So you can't say what you go do and what you not go do.
Yeah, I
Me
definitely agree.
cheating don't mean somebody don't love you. Cheating just sometimes it's just opportunity, and people do stupid shit, and it's just that
I agree.
simple. So at the end of the day, I could fuck somebody and I literally do not love them at all and don't want to fuck up nothing I got at home. I truly want to be with who I'm with at home, but I just chose to do something stupid. Is it
Mhm.
right? No.
No.
Am I excusing it? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is, I don't think that every situation a person cheats, they don't love you.
Yeah.
That does not
But
mean.
I
but my
think
thing
people
but my
equate that
thing
with that.
is when you go out there and do that, right? When you walk out your door into the world, you cheat. You have to be prepared for the fact that you may walk back into your door at home and
Most
walk into a
definitely.
different life.
Most
You know what I mean?
definitely.
It's not gonna be you're taking that chance that it will never be the same. You know what I mean?
Every decision has a repercussion. Every decision. So you'll
Mhm.
be a fool to think that if KJ cheats on his girlfriend, and she decide she wants to leave, he got to deal with that repercussion.
Right.
Because his decision, his actions cause a reaction. So every action
Action calls a
has a
reaction.
reaction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you will be a fool to think that it won't change. But I
Yeah.
don't think that cheating is a deal breaker
You don't?
for me.
So okay. It's not a deal breaker, but what about
It's
that
not for me
level
either.
of trust? Oh, so it's not
Of
it's not
course,
it's not a deal breaker for the both of you.
no.
Mm-mm.
So how do you bounce back from that?
Patience. work. What we did was we went to therapy, and in the beginning, it was the whole I want your passcode to everything you got, your iPhone, your mama's phone. You better call me on every break, lunch, and dinner. It went through all of those phases, and then eventually I realized it ain't even that damn serious. Like if you go cheat, didn't do it, and I'm gonna leave your ass eventually. And it was just, I had gotten to that place, but it was in the beginning. I was honestly, I really didn't even care about her cheating. I was offended. Who she cheated on? Me. I was like, this broke bitch. Like, are you serious? Like, you cheated on me with a rat that was broke on Section 8. Like, are you serious? So I guess I was offended. Like, what? So that was how I was. I didn't even care that she cheated. I was mad. Like, really? That's who you cheated with?
I think for me, I wouldn't be able to forgive the whole thing. I think I would be gone. Because it wouldn't be fair to you, because if you did that to me, I feel like with anybody that been cheated on, in the back of your mind, you suppress it, but you always thinking, okay, they gone. What are they doing? Why would you put somebody through that whole thing? My thing is, if you do it and I find out, there's going to be consequences and most definitely a repercussion. I'm gone. I'm most definitely gone. I wouldn't be able to do that. And since out of my 39 years of living, that's how I've always did things. You did what? Because I will always want to know why. And like you said, I don't believe people cheat because they don't love you. Yeah, they can love you, but there's this thing out there called temptation.
Yeah.
And it's all how you handle that temptation. Some people get succumbed to it. Some people can beat it. The thing is, if you know that this possibly can be something that can pull you in, why be a part of it?
Right.
Why be a part of it?
Some people don't even be a part of it on purpose, though. That's the whole thing. Like it's hard to explain, and you have to be in that situation to really experience. To understand that sometimes you can be friends with somebody, and they can say one thing on this one particular night that causes your tunnel vision to completely open up, and you're like, how the hell do I like them like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I remember being in church and this pastor preaching. There was this lady pastor, and she said, women, be careful with the connections that you make with your girlfriends, because you can be friends with this woman and she can say one thing to you that changes your entire perspective of women. It's not even about you being gay. It's just that your emotions will heighten and your vision will not be this is just my best friend, but this is a person who I can be, I can have a companionship with. She consoled me and held me when I was hurt, and when he cheated on me, I laid on her shoulder, I laid on her chest, I slept in the bed with her, she held me, and then those emotions start going, and the next thing you know, you sleeping with your best friend and you don't even know it. So I think sometimes in cheating situations, some people will know that you're vulnerable and get you in a place where I'm talking to you about who I'm with, and it just spirals. It's a rabbit hole.
I feel like,
now.
and I know,
Or like
I know,
Derek said, or sometimes you don't get enough in your relationship, and sometimes sometimes you don't get enough, but it's not enough for them to leave, but it's just enough for you to tip out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, most definitely. But that's not an excuse to cheat, though.
No.
But
There's never. So
yeah.
just know that the Bearded Man Chronicles does not condone cheating. He is a part of the Faithful Black Man Committee, and
How long have you been a part of the Faithful Black Man community?
oh my God, for years.
How
For
many
years.
years?
Too many to count.
2?
Too many to count.
Two.
Too many. I've never cheated though. I'm not. So the thing is, once I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
Once I'm done, it's almost like you cut an umbilical cord. It's just it.
Yeah.
You know, you just cut it. I'm just done because my thing is, my thing is, you didn't have the decency to say, "Hey, babe, this is whatever you're going through. Communication is everything," and I just don't understand the communication of grown adults nowadays. Like, I'm a big on communication. Communication is phone. Some people method of communication is texting. And I almost feel like with texting, you gonna set yourself up for something. You set yourself up for failure with just strict texting because guess what? We have to figure out what type of mood we want to use with the text. You know, we almost internalize what we deem the text be. 9 times out of 10, it's not even meant that way. Oftentimes, I always get mixed up. Like, wait a minute, was this what this meant? And then somebody have to say, nope, that's not what they meant.
Yeah.
So I'm big. I think cheating stems to communication. You know, I feel like it's a cop out. If you are unhappy in your relationship, have that conversation and say, hey, babe, this is what I'm missing. Give them a chance to see if they're gonna fix whatever your concerns are. And if they don't cheat, just leave them.
That's the best way.
Derek says sometimes your partner gets so comfortable that they don't even pay attention or understand when you tell them that you're no longer happy.
Just leave.
Leave. Yeah.
Yep. Just leave. Pack up and leave.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Because
So
if they not listening, what do
because
you
here it
do?
says if he does say communication, he doesn't. They're not listening.
But
They're not
you
understanding.
You can okay. I mean, I have to respect you guys what y'all say because I can't
Because
However,
women
what
and
I
men
feel
think differently.
You do, but I also feel like it's so easy for external people to tell somebody to leave. It's so easy, and it's not. You can sit back and you can look at somebody and you can tell them that who they with they deserve better, or who they with they shouldn't be with them. But you don't have that connection with that person, so it's easy for the external person to look at somebody and say you should leave somebody,
Mhm.
and it's not that simple.
Yeah, I understand that. I think
I could come to you and tell you, Kevin, leave who you with. But
Yeah.
you gonna look at me like I'm a damn fool
Nope.
because you
If you
made
say
that
leave,
with
that
that
means I gotta pack up and leave.
But my
situation.
thing,
Even
but
if I
my
don't
thing
want
is
to.
when your partner comes to you and tell you that they're not happy, and that's not a priority for you.
Right.
I mean, like, to me, the writing's on the wall. And yes, it may not be
Yes,
easy to follow through on leaving because you've invested time. You
yes,
guys built this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and the outside source may tell you just the conscious thing, like, hey, it sounds like you should leave. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, communication is the biggest thing that holds a relationship together. All relationships revolve around communication. So the
yes,
fact that if I'm telling you I'm not happy, meaning I'm communicating, giving us an opportunity to work together to change that, you're making it easy for someone to grab my attention. You're making it easy for me to find my happiness without you because it's not a priority for you.
But wait. So you can't say that it's not a priority to them. You can't say all of these things because question, Kevin, have you ever dated somebody and said something to them and you didn't get a response? The response that you wanted.
Mm.
Terrell, have you ever dated somebody that you said something to them but you didn't get the response that you wanted?
Yep.
Okay. Did that ultimately mean that they was purposely trying not to give you the response that you wanted?
Purposely or
Did it mean purposely?
purposely? No. Purposely,
Okay.
no. But
Okay, stop right there.
Guess what
So
I'm
when
doing?
he said that he's okay, like, hypothetically speaking, somebody you love, you tell them that you're no longer happy. We have to take into consideration that the other person could be feeling some type of way and haven't conveyed it to them. So you can't automatically assume that because you convey a message to your partner, that your partner automatically understands how to respond or how to give you the response that you need to give you the security that you're looking for. A relationship, as Derek said, well, how can you say you love someone when it's so easy for you to pack up? Larice, leaving is easier said than done. Like I said, you can't just say because shit don't go your way on
So I
Tuesday,
look at it like this. So
Friday, you leave it.
if I go to my partner and say I feel suicidal
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and they don't respond, what does that mean?
I'm scared. You feeling suicidal? Okay, baby.
You gonna let me go through that by myself?
No, but sometimes again, people don't know how to respond. They
But
don't know
say
what
So
that.
to say.
okay,
But
but
say
but
that.
but yeah, communicate that.
You
I'd
can
rather
say
you
that. I don't
say,
know how to. I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do. I
but
don't know
that
how
is
to be there for
that
you.
is totally
Even though
that is
Derek,
totally different than cheating though.
right,
I
but
think cheating is a
he's
personal
No,
thing. You're
what
not
I'm saying
forced to
is
cheat.
when I'm saying is this. If they're saying that they're not happy, and she's saying the response.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I'm saying that, hey, I'm suicidal, and they don't give me the response, which means I'm asking for support and I'm asking for help, and they just blow you off and just be like, well,
but that doesn't mean they're blowing you off. I told my partner that I didn't feel like she
Pack up and
respected
leave.
me and appreciated me enough, right? She didn't give me a response and I got agitated that day, like completely agitated. But later on down the road, after she thought about what I said and she consulted with her therapist, she then came to me and gave me some feedback. So I don't know if this is what Derek is, if it's a personal thing or if he's actually just asking for a friend. If it's a personal thing, my suggestion is sometimes we have to write things out for people to give them a chance to absorb it and then they can communicate. Everybody doesn't have the best communication skills. So I don't think
But
people purposely avoid acknowledging your hurts and your requests. Not all situations, but some. If you believe that you're with someone who loves you and genuinely cares about you, they could have a issue with communication. So you have to check into that and see, do they understand what you're saying? Reach out for a third party, like a therapist. I don't recommend every time shit goes bad, leave.
but
That
I
is not
think
the solution.
but I think a lot of times people go through stuff because they failed to ask pertinent questions in the beginning. So now your feelings isn't involved. You felt, yes, it is harder to leave when your feelings involved. That's why it's important and imperative that you ask those pertinent questions up front. Like communication. What's your style of communication is something that I ask. And if I deem your communication not something that's the level of mine, this is the beginning. It's easier for me to leave because we have no connection. You ask, it's dating is again, it's like an interview. You interview, they picking the best candidate for their job that can represent their organization. You're dating, you're interviewing for the best person that's going to represent you, and vice versa. So at any time you asking questions and it does not align with equated to your mission or your vision of the relationship, then guess what? You go to the next person. But
mhm.
Well,
sometimes you settle for candidates, like jobs settle for candidates. And guess what? When you settle for these people, then you have what's called a revolving door. You're always hiring at a company. We equate that to your relationship. You always in and out relationships. You know,
but sometimes, Kevin, I'm going to tell you this. Sometimes in companies, you'll have the wrong person on the wrong bus, which makes them look like they're not the proper candidate. But you have to shift things around. In a relationship, I think society, especially us, has thinks in our head that relationships are supposed to be simple. That you're supposed to get with this person and y'all are both supposed to be cohesive. Y'all supposed to think alike. Y'all supposed to love each other, and the world is just gonna be roses and fucking unicorns. And it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
have someone who has great communication skills when you first meet them, but throughout you guys' experience, whatever may have happened causes them to shut down and pull away. So
Right.
then you're thinking that, oh, you have horrible communication skills. I'm just gonna pack up and leave. You can't just pack up and leave when shit hits the fan and when
Right.
things don't go the way you feel that they should go. I'm not saying that you should stay in unhealthy relationships. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's easier, it's so much easier for me to tell Terrell to leave the person that he's in love with. It's so much easier. It's
Right.
so much easier for me to tell you to leave the person you're in love with. Why? Because I don't have the connection that you have. So you have to take into consideration when you tell somebody to leave, you take that same energy and you deposit it into your relationship. That's what you have to do because
Yeah.
we so quick to turn around and tell people to leave that's why we have so many single people. Back to your question, nobody wants to work hard for shit. Everybody wants this easy, laid back, chill relationship that requires no work and no effort, and that's not realistic.
Derek said, sometimes we settle for what we think we're worth or what we're comfortable with is in our comfort though. That is something that's I believe that's a very, very true statement. I think people are comfortable within what they are comfortable in, and their expectation levels. Everybody expectation level is totally different. But we are an hour and 32 minutes over. Like we're 32 minutes over. But this is great combo. And this was spare the moment. And we appreciate you guys. If you're on Facebook, please, please, please share this live. We greatly appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, go to the like and hit that like button. Be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. This conclude our Friday adult conversation. We can go on and on. But this was some great convo. And I hope that you guys can, you learn something today. I most certainly learned something from not only the panel, but from you guys in the comments. And this is why I love having interesting dialogue, because you get a chance to learn different perspective. You go in thinking one way, and sometimes you shift. You shift, and that's the good thing about having interesting and great dialogue, because we're not going to always agree, but sometimes you can agree to disagree, and it's no ill intentions in life. I learned that people don't think the way I think. Does that mean a person's stupid or no? It's not. It's just that that's the way they think, and then I have to learn how to understand that's the way they think, and that's how the way they do things. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just different. And I greatly appreciate this. You guys know I'm a conversationalist, so I could talk all night. One thing that we do when we conclude the show is kind of leave the people off with something. And go ahead, First Lady, take us away. What is some in closing? What would you like to close with?
Just do what your heart tells you to do. One thing I heard one of your friends say a couple weeks back was everybody's relationship is different, and
Mhm.
don't try to mimic anybody's relationship. Don't try to mimic anything that anybody else does. Do what makes you happy, and pray about it. That's my suggestion. You can never go wrong if you pray. You pray about it, and you allow God to speak to you and tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And from that point, you'll be okay. That's just my opinion.
Okay, what you got for us, Terrell? We can't leave us with.
Something's on my heart, and that's do it now. So the business, the dream, whatever it is that you've been kind of hesitant about starting or getting back to, do it now.
That's good, 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 good. Like always, I believe in energy. I believe in that positive and that negative energy. Surround yourself with like minded individuals. That positive energy. it takes so much. People don't understand. It takes so many muscles to frown, right? So why would you even waste energy on that? Surround yourself with positivity. Um, Stay focused. Always, for me, I have a lot of ideals and goals. Make sure that they are measurable and attainable. I'm a visual person. Write them down. Get you a vision board, and just know that you are capable and able to do anything that you set your mind to. Right? And it's the only person that's stopping you is you. So remember that the only person stopping you is you. Like always, I greatly appreciate you guys. I appreciate this dialogue. I appreciate everybody. I love you. You guys could have been at the club, but you guys are here, and we appreciate that. We try to come and have some interesting topics that we deal with day to day. And most importantly, I appreciate the panel because you guys take it out your schedule and it's we didn't have this plan in spare of the moment, and you guys come on here, and I appreciate you guys, and I'm forever grateful of you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Always tune in on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when we have our live show. So don't forget that. Like always, we love you guys. Oh, if you are in the Detroit area, Terrell is having a pop-up shop tomorrow. He has a company called Cakes by Bay. This boy can bake
Woo!
down. He's gonna have some of his. Tell the people where they can see you if you're in the Detroit area tomorrow and what you're gonna
Yeah.
have.
So tomorrow, we're gonna be at a pop-up shop. It's located in Detroit. The address is 7645 Finkel Avenue. It opens at 12, closes down at 6. So come and see us. We're gonna have a lot of good sweet treats. It's Valentine's
Name
Day.
some of those
So
sweets you're gonna
sure.
have. Just a few of them.
So we're gonna have some cheesecake infused cupcakes, and we're also gonna have some Hennessy turtles. And
Oh,
we're
you're
also
gonna have
gonna
all
have
the
some
drunks there. You said
cheesecake.
Hennessy Turtles, or you're gonna have all the
Listen,
drunks there.
listen, there's only one person that should be feeding you your sweets, and that's Bay. Now come and see me, okay?
You heard what he
Um,
said.
on Sunday, we're gonna also have another pop-up shop, and that's going to be in Taylor. That's at 22347 Ecorse Road. So come and check us out if on Sunday if you can't make it to Saturday. You can also visit www.cakesbybay.com, and we can get your cakes and stuff like that all together.
Well, I'll be there for sure. I'm gonna get most definitely some cheesecake, so I'll be there. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Until next week, have a safe one. Be blessed, and we out. Peace.
Peace.